What's going on, Stock Gang? Let's start this off with one large brown onion. We're just going to slice it in half. Slice off the ends opposite the root. Peel off the skin, and you guessed it, save it for a stock. Thinly slice the onion, stopping just before the root. And also slice it in half, again stopping at the root. Then grip the onion like a ball and glide your knife through, creating a nice medium dice. Make sure to trim off any excess flesh from the root and save the root for a stock. Once that's done, we can then just pop this aside. Grab yourself 5 cloves of garlic, place the side of your knife onto the garlic and push down to crush it. Once it's crushed, we're just going to thinly slice it. Give it a good rough chop until it's nice and small, and then when it's done, just set it aside. Then with 5 grams of flat leaf parsley, scrunch it into a tight ball and thinly slice. Doesn't have to be perfect, just make sure it's all evenly sliced with no large leaves, and when that's done, just chuck it aside. Place a large pot onto your stovetop over a high heat, and once hot, pour in 2 tablespoons or 30 milliliters of olive oil, add in the diced onions, give them a good mix around and sweat these off for 3 minutes, stirring the pot very frequently, and what sweating off means is to cook without colour. After 3 minutes, add in the chopped garlic, making sure to get it all in there, and continue sweating this off for 45 seconds, stirring it constantly as we don't want the garlic to burn. Once that's done, add in 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds of beef mince or ground beef. Give that all a really good mix, breaking up all of the mince, and cook this for 10 minutes, stirring it occasionally. You'll notice that the beef will start to release a lot of rendered fat, and we want to cook that out until it's mostly evaporated, otherwise we'll end up with an oily mess. And just quickly, once the mince is all broken up, season it with 1 teaspoon of sea salt flakes and 1 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. Mix the seasoning through the mince and continue cooking until most of that fat is evaporated. So this has now been 10 minutes and you can see that most of that fat has been cooked out, which is exactly what we want. We can then add in 2 tablespoons or 2 grams of dried oregano, 2 teaspoons or 4 grams of smoked paprika, which will give our chili fantastic colour, 3 tablespoons or 16 grams of ground cumin, which is going to give us amazing flavour, half a teaspoon or 0.2 grams of cayenne pepper, which is optional, but it is recommended, and you can add more if you like it spicy, and 2 tablespoons or 35 grams of tomato paste. Give that all a really good mix and fry that off for 1 minute, which will allow those flavours to start befriending one another, and for that tomato paste to start releasing its oils. After 1 minute, pour in half a cup or 125 milliliters of beef stock, which I'll leave my link to in the description below, and 800 grams or 28 ounces of crushed or diced tomatoes, and give all of that a really good mix until it's all combined. Season again with 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt flakes to balance the acidity from the tomatoes, and 1 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. Give it another good mix and bring this to a boil. Once the mixture's come to a boil, we're going to turn it down to a low heat, place on a lid, and allow this to simmer away for 1 hour, but we're going to be checking on it every 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, we can remove the lid and give the chili a good mix. You'll notice already that this is slightly starting to thicken up, and the sauce is becoming a nice dark red colour. Chuck the lid back on and continue simmering. This has now been 40 minutes, you can see that the sauce has really thickened up and we have some really great colour. We can add in 400 grams or 14 ounces of kidney beans that have been rinsed under cold water. And we can also add in the chopped parsley. Mix that all through until well combined. And give the sauce a check for seasoning. In goes another 1 teaspoon of sea salt flakes and 1 teaspoon of cracked black pepper. Mix that through one last time. Place the lid back on and simmer for the remaining 20 minutes. To cook some rice, place a large saucepan onto your stovetop, add in 2 cups or 390 grams of jasmine rice that has been washed under cold water, 1 star anise for fragrance, and 3 cardamom pods for added flavour. Pour in 3 3/4 cups or 860 milliliters of cold water, don't touch the rice, and bring it to a boil. Once boiling, place on a lid, reduce the heat to low, and leave to simmer for 14 minutes. After 14 minutes, remove the saucepan from the heat source and leave the lid on for 5 minutes just to allow the rice to steam. Whilst the rice is resting, remove the lid from the chili, turn it off the heat and give it one last mix to ensure that all that surface flavour is completely mixed through. We can then carefully remove the lid from the rice, remove the star anise and cardamom pods, and with a fork, gently fluff up the rice. Remove it from your stovetop, spoon the rice into your serving dish, Lay over that delicious, fragrant and rich chili mix. Give it a good spoon of sour cream to balance those flavours. Top it off with some fresh coriander or cilantro. And dig in. The flavours in that mince and sauce are so good. That cumin creates fantastic flavour mixed with the smokiness from that paprika. The sauce is really well reduced and rich. The rice is fragrant and fluffy. And the sour cream and coriander or cilantro completely top it all off. You don't have to serve this with rice. It can be used for nachos, baked potatoes, chili cheese fries and so much more. This recipe serves 4 to 6 people. It can be stored in the fridge for 5 days and it can also be frozen for up to 6 months. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I was able to teach you something. If you did, be sure to smash that like button and consider subscribing along with that bell notification to see hundreds of more fantastic recipes. Thanks for watching guys, stay safe and enjoy.